before we start the video, I'd like to ask you guys to please consider subscribing to the channel and liking the video, as it helps the channel grow. So, let's get into it. Okay, so, unbelievable is the first words that come to my mind. I just got through watching Dmitry Bivol versus Canelo Alvarez. I never thought I would see the day that, as far as recently, that Canelo Alvarez would lose in such a unrealistic fashion. If you haven't heard, it's probably all over the news by now. Dmitry Bivol just beat Canelo Alvarez by unanimous decision. Yes, you heard that right, unanimous. Unbelievable. In this video, I'm going to give my recap on what happened during the fight, and recap what I saw during the fight, and how I was reacting during this fight. So, without further ado, let's get into it. What's up, guys? KT here, back at it with another video, back at it with another boxing video. I didn't even do a video on this fight. I didn't do a prediction for one or two reasons. I didn't have the time, and I didn't think this fight was going to be all that competitive. Well, I mean, I knew Dmitry Bivol was a very good fighter, don't get me wrong, but I didn't think he'd beat Canelo the way he did. So, the fight starts, round one, and already Dmitry Bivol is doing exactly what I thought he was going to do, was use his jab, use that stiff jab, move around the ring, keep Canelo at distance. So, my initial thinking after those first three rounds, and he did that for the majority of the first three rounds, was, okay, Canelo's getting hit with this jab. Bivol's touching him a little bit. He didn't really throw many power shots in the first 3-4 rounds. So Canelo will adjust, and he will come after Dmitry Bivol and try to go to his body. That did not happen. That did not happen. Dmitry Bivol boxed beautifully and beat Canelo Alvarez at his own game. If you know Canelo Alvarez, he's a very focused fighter. He trains hard, and he took the risk. He wanted to go up to 175 and try and become undisputed in that division. But it looked around the fifth, sixth round, it looked like Canelo bit off more than he could chew. And I'm watching this fight, and I'm seeing Canelo starting to tire. He's breathing through his mouth. Canelo never breathes through his mouth unless he's in a tough fight. So after like the fourth round, I noticed something. Bivol's starting to open up. He's starting to throw more punches, and he's hitting Canelo with these punches, and Canelo doesn't have an answer for it. Canelo would throw back one power shot at a time. His looping power shots, his looping hooks to the body, but none of them landed. Only a few would land at a time, and when they weren't landing, Canelo was just progressively getting more tired, and Bivol, he would see that. He would see Canelo take that one step back, and then he would throw 3 or 4 shots that would all land. So Bivol, he boxed beautifully. It all started with his jab, because he kept Canelo at distance, and he made Canelo miss. Bivol came into the fight with a very high guard, and I thought that would cause problems later in the fight. So we're in the 7th, and it's just more of the same. Bivol is actually, at this point, in the 7th, 8th round, Bivol is backing up Canelo Alvarez. Literally, he's backing up Canelo Alvarez, throwing good shots, hitting Canelo Alvarez with these shots. That jab, fighting on the inside and pinning Canelo Alvarez on the ropes. That was the same thing we saw during the first Golovkin fight. So the 8th, 9th, and 10th round were more of the same. I think Canelo might have won the 9th round and then the 3rd round. But overall, he didn't win more than 2 rounds in this fight, in my opinion. Overall, Dmitry Bivol just beat the pound-for-pound king. And I missed out on a huge opportunity to make a video on this because I didn't think the fight was going to be... I thought Canelo was just going to beat Canelo and beat Dmitry Bivol. But obviously Dmitry Bivol had other plans. I gotta admit, I gotta put respect on Dmitry Bivol's name. You know, he boxed beautifully, and he didn't get rattled when Canelo would hit him with shots. There were some shots that Canelo hit him with. He didn't look rattled. He didn't look phased by the power, because he's used to it. He's been getting hit by light heavyweight power for his entire life. He fought Joe Smith Jr., who's a heavy power puncher, and beat him. So, overall, Bivol looked poised. He stayed calm. He boxed beautifully. He moved around the ring. When he would get brushed back against the ropes, he would get off the ropes and head to the center of the ring. There's not much more I can say about Dmitry Bivol. He just fought beautifully, and he deserved this decision. Now, ultimately, Canelo will exercise the mandatory rematch clause in their contract, but now that breaks Canelo Alvarez's aura of invincibility. Because after Floyd, we thought nobody could beat Canelo Alvarez. But that's proven untrue. And a lot of guys that I watch for boxing, and a lot of guys that I watch for boxing and boxing knowledge, they said that Dmitry Bivol might have had a fair shot in this fight because he was a good boxer, and Canelo seems to struggle with guys that can pop out a jab and throw punches back at him for once. So, hats off to Dmitry Bivol. He ultimately dominated Canelo Alvarez. So I missed out on a big opportunity. I hope Dmitry does more of the same in a rematch whenever that's supposed to happen. But no excuses for Canelo. He didn't want any excuses. He didn't feel like he needed to make any excuses. Just a good fight by Dmitry Bivol, and I'm sorry I couldn't stream it to you. But I didn't think the fight was going to be noteworthy like this. Overall, the fight is going to make front page news. Dmitry Bivol will be a hero in his home country. So, ultimately, congratulations to Dmitry Bivol. Congratulations to Canelo Alvarez for taking that challenge. But that just breaks his aura of invincibility. We'll see what happens. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please consider subscribing to the channel and liking the video, as it helps the channel grow. Hit that notification bell so you get notified every time I drop one of these boxing videos. Share this video with your friends and family. I'm sorry I didn't stream this fight. This would have been a perfect fight to stream, but next week I got y'all. So I'm not making the same mistake twice. So thank you guys for watching. I'm out. Peace.